Welcome, dear listener, to another podcast episode on post-trauma secrets and decluttering, where we delve into the incredible stories of transformation, resilience, and personal growth. I'm your host, Valerie Huard, and today we're having a truly remarkable and inspiring episode for you. We're going to explore a journey that all too relatable for many of us, the battle with trauma and clutter. Our guest today has triumphed over these formidable challenges, and she will share her transformative experience with us. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay updated on our latest episode. If you ever felt overwhelmed by life clutters or have faced trauma head-on, this episode is for you. So without further ado, let's embark on this enlightening journey of healing and growth. And we welcome our guest, Tammie Douglas, who will share her inspiring transformation story with us. Stay tuned. Hi, Tammie.
Hi, Valerie.
Tammie, can you share a brief overview of the trauma and clutter challenges that you were facing before working with me?
Yes. Clutter and trauma. I have experienced multiple traumas. And I remember my mom telling me once about 10, 12 years ago, you do not know how strong you are. And I have come to understand that she was very right about that. I had preschool childhood traumas at the hand of a caretaker, babysitter, and various traumas throughout my life. Very young parents. I love and adore them, and I know they did the best that they could do, but we could never really talk about these things. And therapy and therapeutic means were not a part of our lives. It was pull yourself together and get the job done. And I could do that till I was about 40. I put myself through college. I put myself through seminary. I have a bachelor's of science and I have a master's of divinity. I was ordained in a mainline denomination, served a church for 25 years, and then probably about the age 40, and I'm 61 now, paper clutter, just paper clutter and books and disorganization. And I could have, up until then, an impeccable home. And then I started having terrible problems sleeping and concentrating. And I'd go to my physician and I went to various counselors, and I had been doing that, different types of counselors since I was 20. Social workers, pastoral counselors, psychologists, psychiatrists, tried very few medications because they would often make my situation worse than better. So medication just didn't work for me. I dived into things like at 40 years old, I was on rollerblades. I was parasailing. I was rappelling. But I just could not get back to the place where I could organize well, I could read well and comprehend well, that I felt strong, that strong had left me. That sheer will to do it had left me. I think I just got exhausted and I just couldn't do it through the sheer will that I had anymore. So I just went into a survival mode. And sleeping was just horrid. I could get I went for a few years. The best I slept was 2 to 4 hours a night. I don't know how I even functioned.
Yeah, that's hard.
So that's my trauma and clutter.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. So tell me about the moment you realized you wanted some help, some new kind of help, what happened at that moment?
Well, I had been on Facebook for years and kept in contact with friends and family through that. And one day Do Well came across my Facebook feed, my news feed. And I thought, I've tried everything else. I had gotten books on decluttering and just read the books and could not make any progress. And when I saw Do Well, I was just drawn towards Do Well. And when I saw the little bit of description about it, it just seemed like the right thing to do. So I reached out. And then, Valerie, you scheduled a call with me.
Yeah. So you didn't had any doubt or hesitation before jumping into the program?
I did not. I mean, I've dealt with trauma my entire life. I dealt with clutter that was getting worse for 20 years, and I had tried so many things. Yes, I was ready to dive into something new.
That's awesome. And thank you for your trust. So when you face your journey, what were the pivotal moments or challenge that you think other people can relate, people that are listening right now? When you started the program, what was happening?
When I started the journey, I know that I felt safe, and that has everything to do with Valerie and JM and the staff of Do Well. They make a safe environment for us to step into. Feeling safe, I could get started in the program. As I started the program and I felt like I would make small strides and have setbacks, Valerie and JM and the staff were there to tell me this is exactly what's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
You will feel that way. It's the process. And so I could then tell myself, don't give it up, just keep trying. Don't give it up, just keep trying. And I think the genius part of their program is that in the beginning is a bit of education about how trauma affects the brain and how it relates to clutter. And then there is a lesson, they are called milestones, on how to manage stress. And there's a lot of conversation around cortisol. And as a person who's been through trauma, we are always sitting on our edge of the seat, waiting for the next thing to happen. We're always on alert. So that chemical is just pumping, pumping through our system and pumping through our system. And I would have never thought that I would ever be able to bring that down because it's been there for decades. But this program and Do Well and the stress management techniques will do that for you.
Well,
It did it for me, and I know it can do it for any other client with.
yeah.
That's the genius of it. It works on bringing down the cortisol, and then you can start. We all started into the next milestone that helped us start to clear our clutter, not just our physical clutter, but the clutter that's in our minds as well, and to find peace. I think one of the most grateful things that I have experienced from Do Well is just inner peace. Finally, inner peace.
Wow. And working the different milestone in the program, did you observe, because I observed that, but did you observe a change in your sense of pride in yourself and your accomplishment?
Oh, yes, I did. I even look back over the decades of my life and how I survived and how, in spite of it all, I put myself through school. I showed up for my jobs, and I think how proud I am of her, of me, and then how proud I am of me, of stepping into this program and giving it my all and learning that there will be times where I feel like I'm being set back, but Valerie will share with you, you're kind of consolidating your lessons at that time. I had an experience about a month when my husband was sick and my mother was sick, and I couldn't go near my classes or my program or study my lessons and do well. And I just had to take care of my family. And then I came back, and it's like it just all came together. And I realized, even though that wasn't that was not a voluntary break from the program, my brain just still worked on it because cortisol had come down. I was still using my stress management techniques, and it just all came together beautifully. And when I stepped back into the program, I picked up right where I left off.
Yeah, that
Did
was
that answer your
awesome.
question?
Oh, yes, that was awesome. And I think that you really shine and are proud of the change that happened. So you talk a little bit about the stress and the peacefulness, but what are your specific breakthrough moments?
I think one of the two things come to my mind, and Valerie, you've helped me a lot here. At night, I would still have trouble getting to sleep, and for some reason, my cortisol shoots up in the evening at night. The house is quiet, my husband's gone to bed, the cat's in her bed, but then boom. And to understand, for some reason, the evening is a trigger for me, and to work my stress management then. And if I get to bed a little late, I do not have to berate myself for it. I do not have to criticize myself for it. That's a breakthrough. To be kind to myself, to love myself, and to do what is good for me. Another breakthrough is when a stressful situation happens, we go into, and the cortisol again shoots up. A stress happens, cortisol shoots up, and we get these blinders on in this tunnel vision, and I get incredibly focused on the task at hand, but my heart is pounding, my palms are sweating. I'm in a moment of emotional crisis.
Mhm.
And when I became aware of that, and I could use different techniques to help me through that, I know now that I can feel my emotions, whatever they may be, ever how negative they can be, whether it's fear or sadness. I can face those emotions with courage and bring myself to a happier mindset. That was a huge breakthrough. That I
Yeah.
could say, I feel really crummy right now, but I know I don't have to stay here,
Mhm.
and I don't.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And now you're kind of tutored in the program already. So your life has changed. Your sleep has changed. Your lots of things has changed. So what are the positive outcomes that you've experienced?
You're right. My sleep has changed. My relationships seem to be better. I have more patience with others. I have more patience with myself. And 6 months into the program, I took it upon myself to take a class. It's a class in public speaking. And although I've been a preacher for 25 years, it's a different way of looking at public speaking. And it's a 8-week course, and I'm 1 week into it. And I would have never been able to do that before this program. I would not been able to have the confidence in myself to do this. I would not be able, I wouldn't have been able to believe that I could do this. And I do believe I can do this. I
You
can do
did.
this.
You definitely can. You definitely
Yeah.
can. And we always say it's a 4-step process, the holistic decluttering journey, where we declutter the stress first, the mindset, the time, and we finish with the belonging or the space. So you're a little bit more than half in the program. So did you start decluttering your space or not yet?
I have started to declutter my space. At the beginning of the program, it was fun to be able to just do a little spot. Like they will tell us to look at a tray size, and they'll encourage some physical decluttering in the beginning. But the real decluttering doesn't come until a few months later, a few milestones later, when it starts to become a part of one's nature. And the past couple of weeks have been stressful, and I noticed my counter's gotten cluttered. That little spot was clear, and that's cluttered. And I know this week I'll get to those and I'll clean them back up. And I've been able to dive deeper into the piles of paperwork. That's my clutter. Paperwork. Paper, paper, paper. Books, magazines, and just plain 8 by 11 sheets of paper where I've saved an article, where I've written a sermon, just decades of it. And I've been able to just take tons and just recycle it and move it right out of here. And it's all become second nature.
What advice would you give to others who are facing similar trauma and clutter issue?
When you learn the stress management techniques, learn them well and use them. Use them even if you don't feel like it. Use them. They offer so many. Find the ones that you find work for you. The first one will be the doer's reset, which is a breathing exercise. Learn that one. Learn it well. Use it often. Use it when you don't think you need to use it. I think one of the best pieces of advice I've gotten from many of the staff members is, before you declutter, do your doer's reset. Before you step into a stressful situation that you know is going to be stressful, do your doer's reset. It's a breathing exercise. Learn your stress management techniques. Find the ones that work for you. Find the ones you enjoy doing. There's the brain-heart synchronization. I think of something that makes me happy. I put my hand on my heart and I just breathe. It is so simple to do, and yet it is one of the stress management techniques that can bring me out of a difficult mindset and bring me to a happier place. I can put my hand on my heart, and usually if my cat wants to curl up with me, this is right where she curls up. And she just purrs and purrs and purrs, and she'll snuggle up under my chin and go to sleep. So that might be why I like this one so much, because I put my hand right where she puts herself.
Yeah. So lastly, what's next for you on your path to healing? How do you plan to continue growing and evolving?
Well, I'm about 6.5 months into the program. I'm going to finish it. I am really focusing on getting my office, the room I'm sitting in right now, decluttered and set up to work. I will continue and finish my speaking course. And within that speaking course, there are also opportunities about how to market ourselves as inspirational or motivational speakers. I have also been asked by a few people to write a book. One thing that I enjoy doing is photography, and I have been a liturgical writer within my ministerial career. I've written meditations and liturgy and prayers, so that might be where I start my writing and combine that with my photography. I don't know how to do that, but I'm sure I can figure out how to do that because I've gained a lot of confidence. So those are my next steps.
Wow, that's beautiful. And that, dear listener, brings us to the end of yet another impactful episode here on Post-Trauma Secrets and Decluttering. I hope you found today's conversation as inspiring and insightful as I did. I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our wonderful guest, Tammy, who had the courage to share her journey of triumph over trauma and clutter. Your story will undoubtedly resonate with many, and your strength is truly commendable. I also want to express my deep appreciation to all of you, our dedicated listener, for joining us today. Your support fuels our missions to bring your story of resilience and transformation. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider subscribing and leaving a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback helps us reach even more people on their own journey of self-discovery and healing. Stay tuned for our next episode, where we'll contribute to explore the remarkable story that inspire and empower us all. Until then, take care, be kind to yourself, and keep moving forward on your path of personal growth. See you in the next episode.